states have now legalized marijuana purely for recreational use.
And today, another one is closer to allowing people to smoke up. Maryland lawmakers introduced a legalization bill, and experts say it could pass later this year.
Now, local activists are lit up, saying perhaps North Carolina should be next to legalize it. Right now, let's dig deeper and get into a serious discussion on pot. And I bet you at home have an opinion one way or another.
Yeah, so grab your phone and get ready to be part of this newscast. Starting tonight and moving forward here on WFMY News 2 at 11, you are going to be able to be part of the news we report on. This is new technology, and all you have to do is pick up your phone and go to WFMY.com/vote now. Let me say it again and see it full screen here this time. WFMY.com/vote now. It's free too, so come on and join in. And tonight's question for you to be interactive with us: should marijuana be legalized in North Carolina?
You can answer in 3 different ways. Yes, medicinal use only, never. Again, the question, should marijuana be legalized in North Carolina? You can choose yes for medicinal use only to help with pain or seizures, or flat out no, never.
And as you vote, you can watch the results change in real time right there at the bottom of your screen. Again, go to WFMY.com/vote now. This is something you can't get anywhere else.
And again, the question, should marijuana be legalized in North Carolina? Right now, 80% of you are saying yes. It is a lot to think about, so 2 Wants to Know's Ben Briscoe went to the closest place where it is legal in Washington, D.C. Here's what he found to help you decide.
So the folks in D.C. have this joke that when you're driving around town in certain areas, you have to close the air vent because of the smell of pot wafting around. But that's not what I saw. Pot seemed to be more civil than that, more contained. Here's what 2 Wants to Know found about how legalizing marijuana changed D.C. Cooking to get baked.
We have some chicken and steak with some Asian-style vegetables.
Chef Renee James' secret ingredient isn't in every kitchen. This is no normal stir fry.
It's not. It's normal to me.
It is.
I mean, well, you have your Asian stir fries, you have your Indian stir fries. I do
and now
some
you have
curries.
Your marijuana stir fries.
Well, yeah, all of them have marijuana in them when I cook them.
Since Initiative 71 decriminalized the possession of 2 ounces of marijuana or less in the District of Columbia about 2 years ago, Renee's made a career out of pot-infused food.
It's a very traditional thing to come over and someone's like, hey, take a brownie, like here's a cookie. This is all I do every single day.
Serving dishes like this stir-fry full of 12 joints.
Is pretty heavily infused because I know that this is kind of a stoner party. Everyone that's here, they're pretty used to it.
She says people give her donations for teaching them her cooking skills since you can't legally sell pot in D.C.
It's still a gray area. There has been no definite legislation laid down as to how people are able to obtain their medicines.
Frustrating others like William Angola. He says the drug helps him with his migraines.
Needed to get through my day.
People like him have to get marijuana as a gift or grow their own.
This is a healing plant. This plant has so many uses.
Each house can have up to 12 plants. 12 huge plants. There's no limit on how big. And police say no one has gotten in trouble for having too many plants yet.
It's no different from me growing a tomato plant or a cucumber or whatever you want to grow.
Angola started the DC Cannabis Co-op Club in his house. Their users can give their extra growth to other club members like Nicholas Garcia.
You know, sometimes it's just trading, some bartering. I work on a buddy's car, he gives me some. He works on my basement a little bit, I give him some.
He says the system's safer than before the initiative passed.
I'm not going back and forth, trying to find somebody on the street somewhere or whatever, and everything gets shady. I don't know if I'm gonna get anything good.
But some say the marijuana trade in D.C. is still pretty shady, like Jeff Zinmeister with the group's Smart Approaches to Marijuana.
Instead of displacing the black market, what you're seeing is just a parallel legal market set up alongside a thriving black market that either remains unchanged or expands.
This report from the D.C. Mayor's office points to part of that black market. Investigators say dealers illegally drove around in these vehicles covered in images of pot, selling hundreds of dollars of drugs to undercover officers under the guise of taking donations. Metro Police say that's just the start of it.
We've seen buy a piece of art and get marijuana. We've seen a Uber marijuana business where you can ride around smoking in the back of a vehicle that you've rented.
But they have not seen increased safety concerns or crime.
Not much. I don't think we've seen a very drastic change at all. I don't think it's been that big of an impact.
Police say there's been no spike in people driving while high and no spike in violence.
It seems to be most people have been responsible.
Joy?
James says that just proves you can have the smoke without the fire of negative side effects.
Exactly.
One word of caution here, this is what we found in DC only. Our news partners from across the country have uncovered all kinds of issues with legalization in other places. But in DC only, it's become like smoking tobacco or drinking alcohol.
So Ben, any idea why it seems like DC is different than other parts of the country?
Yeah, almost everyone I talked to said it's because Congress controls the laws in DC. You see, Congress won't let them tax the sale, so there's no big commercialization like you see elsewhere. It's still grown at home and smoked at home for the most part.
Very interesting stuff. Many more interesting details from Ben's trip. So he's going to head out and do a Facebook Live on his Facebook page. Just search Ben Briscoe.
Hey, I'm going to be talking about things like what impact has legalization had on kids in the district? What about all those federal employees who work there? You know, you pay their salaries. Do they smoke at night and then go to work during the day, sometimes high? And what are the impacts on your health from marijuana? We had a great phone bank earlier today with some drug counselors telling us all the impacts. Now, if you want to know that information and a lot more, I know you have your phones out, so go over to my Facebook page right now. It's Ben Briscoe, because I am launching this Facebook Live right now in 3, 2, 1.
And also, I know you're watching the bottom of your screen because we want to know your stance on marijuana. Just go to WFMY.com/vote now. It's all about your interaction and your vote. The question, should marijuana be legalized in North Carolina? Your options, yes, medicinal use only, or no. A majority of you saying yes with 69%. Weigh in on WFMY.com/vote now. And coming up in 11 minutes, 2 wants to know if your vote will change after hearing a story of a former drug addict who says all of his problems started when he first tried pot. So keep your phones and the tablets close. We want to know what you think.
All of the triad, all of the news. Always WFMY News 2 at 11 p.m.
Is that cannabis is not a gateway drug. They're trying to confuse your mind. But I can tell you, as a 25-year veteran smoker who at one point I've smoked as much as 14 grams of cannabis a day, that's not true.
Remember this woman? She says she's never done harder drugs like heroin and meth.
But we met a young man in Greensboro who had a very different experience. He said his innocent pot use as a teenager led to a full-blown drug addiction as an adult.
I did the research to find a definitive answer, and as you watch the story, your stance on marijuana could change.
Weigh in on WFMY.com/vote now.
With the help of a meal delivery service, Tyler Bird knows exactly what's for dinner. But a portion of his life is a blur, including his many arrests.
It's probably 7, 8, maybe more.
But you don't remember?
Don't remember a lot of it.
Tyler can pinpoint when his trouble started. At the age of 14, a freshman in high school, the first time he tried pot.
After that point, I kind of wanted to do it as much as I possibly could.
From doing it once?
Mm-hmm.
For the next decade,
it started a vicious cycle.
His drug use escalated.
I had to have what I had to have, and so I started looking for other options.
Those options, prescription drugs, and then heroin. He has painful reminders of his full-blown addiction.
Injuries to my face, a scar on my forehead from hitting a steering wheel while I was driving when I got one of the DUIs.
In all, he has 4 DWIs on his record. 2 came in the same month.
I think that it took a certain amount of pain to get the motivation to become sober.
Cone Health Behavioral Health Hospital treats people like Tyler. Doctors and nurses here will tell you everyone is wired differently, so it's unclear who could become a drug addict.
Some people have predisposition to drug and alcohol use, so it could affect them negatively. It couldn't have an effect at all, so it just depends on the person. This is Mac, how may I help you?
Mac Whitsitt is one of the assistant directors at the hospital. He says more than 50% of the patients started with pot.
I cannot say that pot is safe because It just depends on the person. It may lead to more harmful drug use.
Truth be told, Tyler has a family history of addiction. Research shows the risk of becoming an addict is greatly influenced by genetics, but he blames pot as the gateway.
And I definitely think that it opened the doors to a lot of other things that I thought I would never do.
Such as?
Heroin, drinking and driving, selling drugs.
Remember those 2 DWIs in a month? That was Tyler's turning point.
When I was at that last day, before I went to treatment and sought help, it felt like my life was over.
Tyler is now 4 years sober. He has a career as a graphic designer, bought a house last year, and is getting married later on this year. He's looking forward to the future, but can't help but wonder, what if he didn't get clean?
It's hard to say whether I would even be alive.
Tyler still goes to sobriety meetings 3 to 4 times a week. He also volunteers at a drug and alcohol recovery center every Sunday. So now let's get back to that original question. Should marijuana be legalized in North Carolina? Now that you've heard from a former addict, where do you stand? Have you changed your mind? Is it the same? We've looked. The yes votes, 67% during your story, Ben. The number has gone up to 71%. You can continue to vote on WFMY.com/vote now.
Yeah, the 3 options here: yes, medicinal use only, and never. And yeah, like you said, that yes, resounding yes.
And more than 1,300 votes have come in.
I really thought it was going to change during your story. His story of perseverance and everything he went through because of the drug is so strong that I thought more people would say no.
But also people's thoughts on recreational pot or something like that remain strong as well.
Absolutely.
With
Look, there are some more
71%
votes
saying
coming
yes.
in. It keeps going back and forth still. And we're going to keep this poll open for a while because we really want to know what people have to think about it.
But an overwhelming number are saying yes. Ben, thank you.